Antman.
What's going on? What's going on?
We are talking sports. This is the Sports Collective right here on WSME Enlightenment Radio. Positivity is everything, baby, especially in this day and time.
Oh, gotta have it.
Oh, gotta have it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Antman is from WSME's The Hustle Within.
Right.
And he, like me, is a huge sports fan. So we get together once a month and we kind of kick it about sports. Of course, he can remember stuff right off the top of his head. Me, on the other hand, I got like lots of notes and pens and my phone sitting here next to me. So, you know, that helps me a little bit. It helps me a little bit. Well, how are you?
I'm good. Staying out.
Seems like it's been a minute, right?
Oh, yeah. It's been what? It's been about a couple months.
Yeah, it seems like that, right? Although we did talk about the playoffs.
Right. Yeah. So
we did talk about the playoffs.
But it was the start of the playoffs. So now we're about at the end of the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot has happened since then.
Right.
A lot has happened since then. The East has been interesting. And it's been interesting because there are teams, granted, you look at the traditional ones who surprisingly made it in this year, right? The Knicks, the Nets, the Celtics, you know.
Yeah.
But when the dust settles, it's Atlanta and Milwaukee. And, Milwaukee has not won a championship since 1974.
And they weren't Milwaukee Bucks. They was something. Oh yeah, they was Milwaukee Bucks.
They were the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, they was Kareem. Was it with Kareem?
Yeah, Kareem was on that team. I think that might have been his last year. There were a couple of people. I think Oscar Robinson was on that team.
Yeah.
And there was one more person. There were like 3 significant NBA players on that 1974 Milwaukee Bucks team. So that's the last time they won. But I think the surprise is Atlanta.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I think the surprise is Atlanta. I don't know whether people expected Brooklyn to be in that slot, but I think Brooklyn had too many injuries this year to keep them consistent. You know what I mean?
It's all about matchups when it comes to playoffs.
That's true.
Your path. It's all about your path that you go in the playoffs. That path was when they went to Milwaukee too early. That series should have been the finals, the East Finals, Milwaukee and Brooklyn. But that path was going towards more. That's why sometimes a lot of these teams will throw games because they want a certain path.
Yeah, and they want that game 5 or game 6 to kind of get it together.
So a number 3 seed, it might not have the same path as a number 5 seed.
Right.
So, and that's what happened. So Brooklyn, they had to play the Milwaukee Bucks, which is, was a quicker run than Atlanta. Atlanta ended up playing New York. They had an easier road, but they still played Philly. But Philly wasn't Philly. Philly wasn't Philly. They was no 1 seed, but they still wasn't Philly.
Well, I think the other thing with Philly too is that you had a good team, solid team, but you have young players. And sometimes when you have young players, as you know, and as most sports fans know, regardless of what the sport is, experience counts. And you can talk to somebody about being there. You can try to get them to buy into the vision, but until they have that experience, it's still a different animal. Case in point, Mr. Simmons. The fact that, during the last game for Philly and Atlanta, he got literally deer in the headlights. There was that moment in the fourth quarter when there was like X amount of minutes left, boiled down to whether they're going to win the game or not. And he got the deer in the headlights look and didn't want to take the shot.
Right.
And everybody's saying, What's wrong with you? This is the time. You're an all-star. By now, you should be able to follow through.
Right.
And he didn't.
Yeah. He's an all-star that can't shoot. He can do everything else. That's the thing about it. Ben Simmons is an all-around player. Don't get me wrong. Only thing that he minus is shooting. He's not a shooting guard. He's a point guard that plays defense. He's a 6'11" point guard. Magic Johnson. You can't name another point guard besides Magic Johnson, LeBron James, or point forward. So that can bring the ball down the court, that can defend the point guards. That's why he's an all-star, because he's an all-around player besides scoring. Now, if I was building a team because of in today's NBA, no, he wouldn't be a piece that I add to my team.
Because of that.
Because he can't shoot. The thing about it is, this is an offensive game. The NBA is offensive
right
now. There's no defense. Once you start playing defense, you only play defense in the playoffs. They only play defense in the playoffs. They don't play defense in the regular season.
That's true, because if you look at the way they play now, it's an adjustment for somebody like me who grew up with defensive playing. And now you see these guys standing behind the 3-point line and everybody's trying to hit a 3-pointer.
Even the centers.
Yeah, what's going on? The centers are bringing the ball down court. And are there really any true centers in the NBA anymore?
No, they're 7 foot, but they're not centers.
But they're not centers.
Yeah.
Because nobody really plays the middle.
Like having a Shaq. If I had to start a team, I wouldn't pick a Shaq in this era of, even though Shaq is a Hall of Famer, Shaq played, but Shaq couldn't play in this NBA.
I was going to say, but Shaq couldn't shoot free throws.
No,
that was his biggest problem.
He was
because of his height.
He's still one of them players in the 90s that in the early 2000s that you'll build a team around, because you still have centers that put their back to the basket.
Right.
So now the plays don't even, the offense is ran through the guards. ISO. That's it. ISO, and then you pick and pop. Pick and pop.
What you mean is isolation?
Yeah, isolation. When they pick you, you go around.
Right.
The guard shoot. The center roll or the power, whoever sits, they roll to the basket, look for the alley, look for the little shot, the hook shot, or maybe a pass, or they just take the guard away, then the guard shoot. So that's the offense that they run now. ISO, isolation, pick and roll, which is pick and roll.
Right.
And pop and shoot. Pick, pop, shoot. They call it pick, pop. You pick, and then you pop out and shoot. And threes, and they just station around the threes. That's it. The point guard drive and kick it out to the shooting guard or the shooting forward, or the center at the top of the key. They shoot it. So the offenses are so easy to learn now. But the thing about it is, it's a spread offense. Everything is spread. No defense.
No defense at all. And when you look at the game, you're like, for instance, now I watched the playoffs last year. But for some strange reason, I guess I didn't pay attention to it like I am this year. Right. Because now you got the crowds back in it. And there's a whole lot of other things, that weren't happening last year this time because of the pandemic. Right. But when you really look at this game and you study this game, it's a totally different game.
Right.
It is not even what it was 10 years ago.
Nope.
And like you said, you got big men handling the ball. You don't have anybody necessarily playing defense until the playoffs. I mean, I'm screaming at the TV. Why aren't you getting rebounds? What is this? What are y'all doing? So it's a definite difference to the game now. There's no question about that. No question about that.
And Detroit Pistons got the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
They end up getting the number 1 pick in the lottery. So that's different.
Well, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
See how they rebuild. Yeah. I think for me, because I've been so surprised by the Knicks, I'm really interested in seeing what the Knicks are going to do, and what that's going to look like. I'm sure Atlanta is going to stay together. I don't think there's going to be any changes with them.
No, rookie contracts. They still on their rookie contracts and veteran minimals. So they'll keep the money. They'll keep it going.
And
they
I
probably
think
even add to it. They'll probably add to it because they got a little money. I mean, Atlanta got money left.
yeah. So yeah, it would be that they would start to really shop around and look for people. And Nate is probably going to end up being their coach. He's interim.
They
right
should have been
now.
gave this man the job.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like Nate McMillan, he should have never even been an intern he should have been a head coach anyway.
Yeah, a long time ago, to be honest.
Like Indiana fired him, but he turned Indiana around. Remember, Indiana had that mediocre team, and they still won like 50-some games.
Right. Which is great in the NBA.
Yeah, he won 50-some games, which was top four seed.
Right.
Going into the playoffs. Couldn't get past first round, but every year that Indiana team, that mediocre Indiana team was in the playoffs every year.
You know, like they used to say, the road to the East was, through Detroit. Then it became the road through the East was through Chicago.
Yep.
And then at one point it was Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana Boston. Like, yeah, Indiana was good. Yeah, they definitely was good.
With Reggie Miller.
Yep.
That whole Reggie Miller squad. So, it does float around, but I think I'm really interested to see what the Knicks are going to do. I think Atlanta is going to remain the way that they are. Doc Rivers kind of backed out of his statement about Simmons the other night, because when I watched the press conference afterward, he was like, well, I don't know. Well, maybe you have to go into the gym. I don't know if he's worthy of, blah, blah, blah. And then it turned out the next day he's saying, well, I'm bullish on him. We're going to keep him. It's just a matter of him working some things out. But as you said, if he's an all-around player, he should be able to shoot that ball. There's no question.
He needs to develop at least one patent shot.
Right.
It ain't nothing but a runner. And the thing about it, he averaged 18 points a game. But guess how he averaged that 18 points? Layups. Alleys.
Finger rolls.
No jumpers. He do that, but that's great for the regular season. It don't work in the playoffs. Right. Teams already know your number when you go to the playoffs. That's why you pick as you can see, it's a whole new season when it comes to playoffs. Everybody play defense.
Right.
Even the sorriest team, the 8th seed in the NBA playoffs, play defense. There's nobody that don't play defense in the playoffs. Everybody play defense. That's part of the game when it comes to playoffs.
And I mean, it's just like the whole thing of shooting free throws, right?
Right.
You may not be able to shoot one all year, but it's going to come down to, in those last few minutes of the game, sooner or later, somebody's going to get fouled. Somebody's going to go to the foul line, and somebody's going to have to shoot that because it's crucial. It makes or breaks the game.
The hack of Shaq was developed by Greg Pop. It's developed by Pop with the Spurs, which is my team, Spurs. I'm a Spurs fan. But he was smart to think of it in that era because he know it's give or take maybe 15 points.
Right.
They lose because Shaq is only going to shoot a 40-50%. Not even 50%. He was at like 47%.
47%, between 45 and 47%. Yeah.
That means he's missing. He go to the line 10 times. He only making 3. He only make 4.
At best. Yeah.
At best. At the least, he might not make nothing.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. 15 shots, 4 points, I'll take it.
Yeah, because if you think about it, right? I remember, and this is the first time it hit me that, how big Shaq was.
Oh, God. Yeah, he's humongous.
He's humongous, but he couldn't get an angle on the ball.
Right.
It was very difficult for him because he was so tall that it was hard for him to get an arc on the ball, to get the ball to drop. If you noticed, his shots would always like bang the rim.
Yeah, he pushed
and then kind of fade.
Yeah, he's not shooting because he don't even bend his knees. He's so big, like I said, he can't bend. He's shooting with one hand. He pushing. He pushing it. So when you pushing the ball on the free throw line, it's never gonna work. Same thing. Ben Simmons has a good release, but he don't bend his knees.
Yeah.
So that's what we learned in Pee Wee, like Pop Warner basketball, the early stages of pop. Bend your knees, then shoot and release.
Follow through, yeah.
Follow through with it. Same thing I'm teaching my son right now. Like, shoot 100 free throws. Don't try to run around here and do dunks and layups and fancy layups and this and that. No, you got to learn how to shoot a mid-range jumper.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you right now, any team that has players that have mid-range, look at Kawhi Leonard.
Right.
Clippers. He's out right now, but if he wasn't out, the Clippers would be in the finals. They would be making the finals. I mean, they down right now with Phoenix. They down 2-0.
Yeah.
But if Kawhi Leonard was playing, because he's a mid-range, that's why he has 3 championships or 2 championships. What do you got? 2 or 3 championships? Due to the fact he got 3 championships. I got 2 with Spurs and 1 with Toronto.
Toronto, right?
So he got 3 championships because he's a player that developed a mid-range, an old school player.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody that can get a mid-range jumper, a player that can get a mid-range jumper, they can go far in the NBA.
Yeah. And because primarily it's their shot. You know, just like Kareem had his hook.
Couldn't stop it.
You know, you couldn't stop it. If you can develop a shot that is yours and yours alone, I mean, everybody probably has a mid-range, but how well does it work for them?
Right.
You know, or whatever
they don't use it because the offense don't account for it.
Right.
Because they are not strong in that area because all the offenses are ran around the 3-point, the pick and roll, the ISO, the alley hoop, the all this and that, the layups. That's what the offense plays or ran around.
And we saw a lot of that last night with Atlanta. Yeah.
Pick and pop.
You know, there were a lot of alley-oops or attempted alley-oops. There have been during this series.
Yep. Trae Young runs up. He do that pick and roll and he do that floater. Can't be stopped. Can't stop it. That little floater that he go in the lane.
Yeah.
They can't stop it.
It's real soft.
He was killing them. He's killing them with that.
He
missed all his threes now. He's a good 3-point shooter, but at the same time, he was shooting 3 for 15. He shoot 15 times, but he'll make 4.
Yeah.
3 points.
But I think the interesting thing to me about him is that he's not afraid to go down the middle.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these guys during these playoffs will not go down the middle.
Will not.
And he's like, listen, I got work to do. Excuse me. I am going down the middle. And he does it. You know, and he uses his floater and he gets through. I mean, it's amazing to me because he is not as big as everybody else on the floor.
Don't be surprised if Atlanta is in the finals. Don't be surprised.
I'm not going to be surprised.
Don't be surprised if Atlanta don't win the championship. Don't be surprised. Hey, stranger things that happen in the United States of America now. We got to remember that. A lot of things that happen in sports. You don't have underdogs in sports.
That's true.
That have that heart. It comes down to that heart.
Yeah, that's true.
And that little man, like he's a little guard, but he has a lot of heart. And he's the backbone. If he get hurt, we're not wishing that on anybody. But,
right.
It's sports. Injuries occur.
Injuries happen, especially in the playoffs.
So as you can see, there's a lot of teams right now. Kawhi's out.
Right.
Who else is out? There's a couple more players out that's on. That's kind of hurt. I mean, you look at Brooklyn when they was in. Well,
I was gonna say Brooklyn. I mean, they've been in and out with injuries since like March, even before
the Lakers. Yeah, think about LeBron
and Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony Davis. Think about them. It might have been a whole different playoffs if.
Oh, absolutely. But I think what teams have to remember, and I think what we as fans have to remember, is that it's more to a team than LeBron James and Anthony Davis, at least for me as a Lakers fan,
There's more teams. Yes.
There's more teams, and there should be. I mean, granted, when you have 2 players of that caliber on the same team, it's hard for other people to get floor time. Right. But they should be allowed to do it so that they can function when those two players can't. I mean, that's the sign of a team, right?
Right.
When your key people go out and the other people keep it going.
Right. A good bench. Yeah.
Right. And I don't know if LA has that. There's a lot of teams that were in the playoffs that didn't have it. Brooklyn couldn't finish.
Right. You got to remember, NBA right now is talent-wise, you only have a handful of superstars. Now, you got a lot of stars and potential stars.
Right.
That's coming up. But these guys are all teenagers, most of them.
Mm-hmm.
Zion, Morant. These guys in their early 20s. They stars for their team, but at the same time, they don't. You get them into a playoff scenario. That's why I'm shocked that Trae Young is doing what he's doing due to the fact, but he do got more experience than them because he went to college longer.
Right.
I think he went all 4 years or 3. I think he went 3 or 4 years.
I think he's a third year
player. So I'm third year college, out of college.
Yeah. Yeah.
24 years old, 23 years old. You got to remember the guys behind him in the NBA, majority of the NBA is 21 years old, 19 years old, 18 years old. You got young players in the NBA. There's no OGs.
Yeah, very few.
There's no
like
OGs.
Rondo.
Is 37. He's not really an OG.
Yeah.
He still got another 3-4 years. He's an OG, but he's really not an OG. Some
Right.
of the OGs that been like Kevin Willis. Kevin Willis was 45, 46 years old before he retired.
Before he left, yeah.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was 40-some years old before he retired.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan was like 40 before he retired. Them real OGs, that's the ones that was in the NBA when Iverson, Shaq, and all them was coming up.
Right.
But they also, the Iversons came in. He came in the game at 23 years old with experience because you got to remember, this man went to jail.
Right.
He went to Georgetown for 1 year. He went to a community college. So he had the experience of able to step right in and do what he had to do. Ray Allen, 4 years. Tim Duncan, 4 years. Yeah. They all came out of college, so they became OGs quick, but they had the experience to learn.
Yeah, and not only that, I think they too were better players.
Right.
Now, granted, Allen Iverson, I mean, AI could do it all.
Right.
But
Grant Hill, 4 years, Duke.
Right.
Yeah. All these players.
Yeah, but those college players, because they have that experience and because they've been in winning situations, they're quicker, it seems, to adapt to, NBA, what it is, the experience, all of that.
One and done. Most of these players, one and done. Now they about to bring the rule back where they can come straight from high school again.
Really?
Yeah, they about to bring that back in the next couple of years. You got to remember, a lot of these guys are not even going to college. They signing with the
NBA. They're going straight into the NBA, like they do with Major League Baseball.
Yeah, they signed with the minor league team in development. Mm-hmm. They're not going to high school. Some players
D-League.
Skipping their senior year of high school to go into that G League. They call it the D League or something for it.
Yes, the D League.
Yeah, for them or something. They're doing something different with them. But whatever they're doing with them, they giving them money. They giving them like $2 million.
Yeah. They get real money.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think? Speaking of which, that NCAA Supreme Court ruling.
Love it.
You love it? Why
do
you love it?
I think all players should get paid. When you're using my name, you're using my jersey. Okay, if I'm number 21 and I play for Alabama, I know I'm number 21 and I play for Alabama at this time period, and you using my likeness in your stores. And when I walk into a campus store and I see my jersey, number 21, okay, all these kids are going to buy this jersey due to the fact they know I'm Anthony Little and I play for Alabama. I'm the corner. I'm the running back. I'm the star for Alabama. They looking at me like, wait a minute, I'm not getting $1 off that jersey, but they selling 10,000, 20,000, 30,000.
So you think that it's good? I look at it from the standpoint. I'm still split. The jury's still out for me. I've got to do a little bit more research because while I want players to get their just due, I think that you're there to play a sport and not necessarily to train to be a professional.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, but at the same time, you got to remember, these guys get a scholarship, right? Some don't get scholarships, but they earn that potential to be a star in college. So some might get partial scholarships. Some might even get academic and just walk on to the team and make money, and don't have money to be made because they walk on and be good. They end up being good, or they end up being a success with that team.
Right.
We also got to look at these scenarios when come to college. Everybody's not the scholarship player or the top recruit, or they coming from these homes that low income homes. They got family that's sitting at home. Like, okay, he got a full scholarship, but my mom lights is out tonight. Don't have lights. Don't have food.
Right.
I got a full scholarship to go to Alabama, but my mom's sitting at home with no lights, no food, no water. I got to send money back to them. How, they not giving me money, but they selling 20,000, 30,000 jerseys, and they selling me on an NCAA football game on, one of these NCAA football Madden, or not Madden, but the NCAA college football game.
Right.
And, EA Sports. And I'm not still, they come to see me every week at the games. We got 20 million people. I mean, 3-4 million people lined up in the stadium. They come to see me. I'm the star of the team, and we about to win a national championship. And I don't see not $1. And the coaches and all these
everybody else
seeing all this money. Nah. Yeah, they got to start playing these players because they not, the college is not going to be happy if they don't pay them. They're going to be one and done, out. 2 years, I'm out playing football. 2 years, I'm out. That's why they can't keep scholarship players.
Yeah, because they usually end up going into the league.
In NFL, they want their money. Like, y'all get my money.
Yeah.
Yep, so.
All right, we're gonna break. We still got 3 to 4 things to talk about.
Right.
So let's get this break in, and when we come back, we'll talk about Olympic trials. You're probably gonna talk about them more than I will, but we'll get there. This is the Sports Collective right here on WSME Enlightenment Radio.
Hey, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna get my charger.
So this is the collective, and it's the Sports Collective, and I'm glad you could join us this evening live as we are broadcasting from the collective page. And usually about once a month, Antman, Anthony Little of The Hustle Within, and I sit and kind of kick it about sports because we're both big sports fans. And since this is my show, I get to talk about anything I want when I want. So the gentlemen of WSME Enlightenment Radio have given me the freedom to discuss what I want when I want. So I get to talk about sports, and it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. And Antman is a bigger sports fan than I am. So we really kind of like, as it is said, chop it up. So with that, we're back.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about the Olympic trials. We've got a lot of fast young people in the 440.
A lot, yeah.
Quite a few. The Americans are really kind of looking good at this point. But in our previous conversation before air, you talked about how while this young lady, the former LSU track star, is very fast, she's got to come up against the Jamaicans.
Oh, yeah. Different ball game.
And that's a different ball game.
And the stage, the Olympic stage.
Yeah. And there is always nervousness with that. There's always a head game with that. But she's being compared to FloJo, Florence Jordan. And so a lot of different people are sitting up and taking notice as to what she's doing and how she's doing it. Sha'Carri Richardson.
Right.
She won the 100 meter semis and finals, and she secured a spot on the American team. The former Tiger clocked in with a wind-aided. I hate when they say that. And the reason why I know that wind plays a part when you're doing that sort of run, because my sister used to run track. But I think when they say that, when they do that, it makes it look like the person isn't as fast,
right,
as as their time shows, and that's not true. I mean, to me, if you're somebody who is out there and you're practicing every day and your time gets better, how is the wind aiding you? I guess I need to do a little bit more research into that and dive into that, but it just seems like it takes away from what the runners accomplished.
Right. Because I mean, you gotta, from a track perspective, and some of these, like you said, when they go to the Olympics, it's a different ball game.
Yeah.
You fighting against the best of the other countries,
and best Jamaica, in the world.
Yeah, and so you dealing with just looking at like distance runner.
Right.
You dealing with Kenyans and Somalians from Africa, which is known to be very, very gold. They medal in pretty much every Olympics in the long distance, and the marathons. Then you're also dealing with, when you're dealing with the 4x100, you're dealing with the 100,
right?
You're dealing with the 200, the 400. You're dealing with the Jamaicans, Jamaica. Jamaica is very potent in when it comes to track and field. They are top. I mean, Bolt was the king of, he was the king of the 100, the 200, the 4x100, the 4x200. They was the king. I mean, he won medal after he went to 4 Olympics and won a medal. He won 4 or 5 medals every Olympics.
But there was somebody who just beat Usain's time in this last trial by a few seconds. I can't remember his name. Gotta look it up.
That's what I said. We got a good track field this year. We got a good track field. We got some of the young ladies from A&T.
Yes. And some of the gentlemen from A&T.
Some of the gentlemen, that was a good track. They had a good track team.
They had a great Olympic trial.
Yeah, they had a great track and field team. They had some All-Americans on that team, and I think they won the national championship or came close to winning it.
Yeah, very close. I think some folks second and third. Yeah. All right. Let me see. I'm looking at athletics in Jamaica. The current women's world record is held by Marita Koch with a time of 47.60 seconds. Salwa Aid Nasser is the reigning women's world champion, while Shanae Miller Ubio holds the women's world Olympic title. So Marita Koch is the fastest female to run the 400-meter dash.
Okay.
So I'm looking for women.
And then gymnastics. You gotta remember, we still got
Listen.
Gabby?
No, not Gabby.
Not Gabby.
Not Gabby.
What's the young lady name? Oh my
yes.
God.
What's her name?
Simone
Biles.
Yeah, Simone. Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Good. Don't get me wrong. Gabby's still there, I think.
Oh yeah.
I think
but Simone Biles. Now you remember when we talked basketball and we were talking about old, she is now considered old.
Yeah, and they got another
gymnastics
girl coming up now.
Yeah.
A little 16, 17-year-old that's coming up in gymnastics now, in American gymnastics. That's real good. That made
I would tell you,
he's on the team.
if you watch Simone Biles in those Olympic trials, I don't know who's going to beat her out.
Oh yeah, she should win. She should win gold. She should medal in every event. Gold.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she should win
She's
gold.
Amazing. I mean, just to watch her, if you watch them slow-mo when she does the flips in the air, she is so, how can you say, conscious of where she is. Yeah. And her form is perfect, which allows her to move even faster through the air. It's just amazing. I don't see anybody beating her.
Yeah,
I don't see anybody outdoing her for the gold. I don't.
And she get the all around gold.
Yeah, it's coming. I just don't see it. And she's, you know, she's funny because she's like, well, getting ready to be 25, and I'm not sure as to what I want to do. I'm like, girl, open up a school. Train somebody else to do what you're doing. You know,
she get money too. She's gonna keep getting money.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The endorsements are gonna be crazy.
Crazy. Especially the endorsements when every gold medal they put out there this year.
She's gonna win everything. All right, your Major League Baseball. Did we talk about the sticky stuff already?
No, we haven't.
So, according to CBSSports.com, the issue is not so much checking people for what they're considering a grip enhancer.
Right.
The issue is how many times they check you during a game. And the pitchers are becoming frustrated, which is why we see all these clips of the pitchers, you know, unbuckling their pants, undoing their shirts, looking like they're coming out of their clothes, because they're frustrated with the number of times they have to be checked for whatever substance that they say that they're using to hold on to the ball. Now, what I didn't realize is that you have two substances, sunscreen and tar.
Oh God, yeah, tar is bad.
But they're allowed. I didn't know tar was allowed. I thought that was illegal, but I didn't think anybody could use a grip. But from what I've been looking at this afternoon, they said those two are allowed. Everything else is not. So the issue becomes, did Major League Baseball make it worse by being slack about it, or are they making it better by checking them 3 and 4 times in a game? Because they're saying it doesn't slow down the game.
Yeah. Hey, Major Baseball has always been one of them games that they're gonna do a little something to get the edge in some way, somehow. And it's all types of rituals and right. So many habits that they do. You remember tobacco used to be the biggest thing in baseball.
Right.
You can tell the guys that used to do tobacco that still play baseball now, or do tobacco that play baseball, because they got to have all the sunflower seeds in their mouth, and
right.
They got to have all that bubble gum in their mouth, they're chewing gum, and they got to spit it like they chewing tobacco or snuff in their mouth. That's just a habit that they've been doing. Like you said, they've been getting away with that tar stuff ever since they've been pitching, and now all of a sudden they're saying, "Oh, you can't do it." So they're gonna use other substances to catch their edge.
Yeah,
to make the difference. They always did. They always did it since the beginning of baseball. Back in the early 1900s.
Yeah, like 1900s, 100 years ago.
Yeah. So when baseball started, so they always been a sport that always wanted the edge and always did the edge.
So going back to your Houston
Astros.
Mm-hmm. How they're number 1, right?
Right now, yeah. Yep.
And are they being affected by this?
Nope. See, the thing about it, remember they got caught for cheating in the World Series.
Right.
Well, World Series a couple years back.
Right.
But they got caught later after the World Series for stealing signs and that's not, to me personally, it's an edge, but it's an edge that, I mean, Bill Belichick does it in. He was doing it in football.
with the Patriots.
Yeah, he did it in football just before Super Bowl. Just so baseball stealing signs. Okay, what is stealing signs really? Like, you can't go out there and hit the ball. You can't stop the ball. You can't. All you can do is say, okay, they got this comment. If that player can't adapt to whatever that play is or whatever it is, it's not an edge.
But if I know your plays, does that not give me an advantage?
Yeah, it gives you an advantage. But at the same time, like you said, they still got to go out there and execute that advantage.
Yeah.
You didn't got the right players, but they all professionals. Don't get me wrong, they're all professionals. And I think it's more of the professional aspect. They looking at them, okay, y'all are pros. Why are you trying to take this edge? Or why are you trying to get this? You trying to get this edge?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to get it? You shouldn't be doing that. You're a pro.
Right. You shouldn't be.
Yeah,
but that's how the game is played, right?
That's what I'm saying. They always out to get that edge or get a step above. But at the same time, when you're looking at stealing plays, the team still have to execute what they stole. Same thing with the Patriots. They had to execute when they stole the plays from Carolina Panthers.
Right.
They looked at the walkthroughs of the Carolina Panthers and the teams. They still had to go out there and actually execute that game plan. Same thing with baseball. Like, okay, you know that I'm about to throw a slider, but can you hit it?
Right.
Are you known to hit sliders? No. If you're not a batter that's known to hit slider, you're still not going to be able to hit that slider.
Whether you know it's coming or not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't hit fastballs, and you know the fastball coming. You're not going to hit it. So, okay, now you're a good hitter on curveballs, and you know the curveball coming. Then you might got an edge. You got an advantage. So everybody's not going to have that advantage because you got players that hit better with a fastball over a slider.
Right.
You got a player that might hit better as a fastball over a curveball, a knuckleball or whatever. So you know that's coming, and then all of a sudden it's coming, and you can't hit it. Where's your advantage at? You know it came, but you can't do nothing about it because you don't know how to adjust yourself.
You don't know how to adjust it. Yeah. So are the Astros being looked at in a different way now that they're ahead? Are they under more scrutiny?
Of course. They watching them like hawks. If I'm if I'm in a relationship and I cheated and I get back with that female that I cheated on, 9 out of 10 times she's going to be watching me differently.
Yeah.
She's not going to watch me the same way she was watching me before. Now it's going to be a little bit more close, tight-knit. Hey, what are you doing? Where you going? Where you at now? There's going to be more questions.
It's a trust issue.
Trust issues come out. Same thing with the Astros right now. They looking like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
You probably got special NLB, commissioners and stuff coming out looking at it.
Yeah.
You got people checking their books, checking their game plan, looking over everything before they go out there and play. But right now, they are number one. They number one right now. I mean, I think they like number one. I know they're number one in their division, and then I think they number one in baseball. I think they got the best record in baseball right now.
Yeah. When's the All-Star game?
All-Star game is, I think, in
about 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yes, I know it's sometime this month.
Yeah,
they in the halfway mark.
They're in the halfway mark for the season.
Yeah, they play 80 games.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking that the Yankees, because for some strange reason, like I said, I'm not a baseball person, but I guess I've been attracted to the players of the Yankees.
Right.
And so right now, they're third in their division.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see who comes out of
that league. Central.
Yeah.
East. I mean, AL East.
AL East.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who comes out of there. And what's happening on the West?
The NL West or the AL?
Yeah. NL West.
NL West, Dodgers. That's the Dodgers and Padres and
yeah. Yeah.
Dodgers are right now, and the Cubs, I think, is in that division.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good division, but at the same time, they done start taking a step back. Everybody else catching up with them. And remember, at the beginning of the baseball season, they was like blowing out competition like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Dodgers had the best record in Major League Baseball. The Padres right behind them. Oh, and then I forgot the Giants. The San Francisco Giants are very good this year. They're actually number one. San Francisco Giants number one.
Really?
Yep.
They just celebrated Willie Mays. I didn't even know Willie Mays was still alive. They just celebrated his birthday. I think his 90th. I think he was at the stadium. Yeah. I thought Willie had gone on, but he's still hanging in there and still going to games. Yeah.
He was tough. He was a tough player.
He's one of the best.
One of the best. He probably was the best.
Yeah.
He probably was the best in the era that he had to play in.
That he was playing in.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the best, if not, like you said, if not the best in that era. The Say Hey Kid.
Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame still. I don't care what nobody say. He definitely should be in the Hall of Fame.
Why isn't he?
Edge. They look at him as being someone that got the edge. Steroids. They call it, even though he never been.
Yeah, it's never been found, right?
Never found. I mean, they looking at all possible that he took steroids because he went from skinny Barry Bonds. But you got to remember, when he was skinny Barry Bonds, he still had 400 home runs.
Right. So
now, when he became built Barry Bonds, I mean, hey, he had 700. He ended up with 700, what broke the record, Aaron record. But he still was Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He was a Hall of Fame before he started taking steroids.
I was going to say, before he had fingers start pointing at him.
Yeah, he was a Hall of Famer. So that's why you can't, if you're looking at his back end, okay, cool. But he's still a Hall of Famer on the front end.
Yeah.
Because he still had 400 home runs and seven Slugger Awards and 2 MVPs at that time. I mean, he played for the Pirates.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, he's definitely deserved to be in the Hall of Fame now.
Well, do you think he'll make it? Because
eventually, I think they have to eventually. I think eventually he have to get in. See, but the thing about it, Roger Clemens should be in the Hall of Fame, but Roger Clemens admitted that he took steroids. Same thing, Mike. What's his name? Mike Piazza.
Yeah.
The catcher, he admitted that but he's in the Hall of Fame. He said he took steroids.
Well, does that depend? I guess that depends on the sports writers, right?
Yeah.
How they looking at it, and what they excuse, what they kind of do this to.
Yep. Mark McGwire definitely shouldn't be a Hall of Famer.
Same thing.
It was reported that he took steroids his whole career. So no, he definitely shouldn't be a Hall of Famer. But Barry Bonds took steroids at the latter part of his years playing baseball.
Well,
years.
To be frank, do you think race is playing a part in it?
Yes. Major League Baseball. You gotta remember what sport we're talking about. We're talking about a sport that really never gave the African American or the other or anybody else of different color descent the opportunity to do too much in that league. Like I said, after Jackie Robinson, I was just watching Jackie Robinson movie, man. That was the most. I just can't believe.
Yeah, it's very well. And Jackie Robinson died young.
Yeah,
he was like 53 years old.
Yep.
The stress killed him.
Yep.
The fact that he could not speak out.
Right.
It's just amazing. It's amazing what he went through, amazing what he had to prove, and amazing what he did under the circumstance.
Yeah. So I'm like just looking at Jackie Robinson, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, the stuff they had to go through and be part of every year coming out, to play at Major League Baseball, play at Major League Baseball. So now you're thinking about some of the guys that should be in the Hall of Fame that's of African American and like colored descent, and they're still not in the Hall of Fame. And Barry Bonds is one of them that definitely should be in the Hall of Fame. There's no question. I don't care what nobody say. Okay, you don't look at his back numbers, look at his front numbers. He still had 400 home runs. He had 400 home runs, and he was this big. He still had 400 home runs. So you can't tell me that man do not deserve
that. It didn't make a difference, right?
It didn't make a difference.
But did he contribute?
Is Darryl Strawberry in the Hall of Fame? I think he finally made it, right?
I think he finally made it. We have to look. I gotta look that one up.
Well before the end.
Yeah, but it took him years.
Yeah, Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey got in. Ken Griffey Jr. got in his first time.
Yeah,
first ballot. He was the first ballot Hall of Famer. Barry Bonds should have been the first ballot Hall of Famer.
Sports writers not going to do that.
No,
they're not going to do it. Last thing before we go, who are we seeing in the playoffs? NBA.
NBA, who's winning?
Who are we going to see? Well, who's gonna meet?
Okay, I think. Oh boy, I mean, I like Atlanta. I'm gonna say Atlanta, and I think Phoenix. I think it's gonna be Atlanta and Phoenix. The Clippers, I just don't think they got without Kawhi. They just
I agree with you on that. I don't think the Clippers have it in them right now. Give them another year.
If Phoenix meet Atlanta, that's going to be a great series.
I think it's Phoenix and Atlanta, and I think that's going to be a heck of a series.
It might.
I see it.
It might be Atlanta winning the championship. I'm telling you, it's going to go down to a game 6 or 7 because they are saying they're similar teams.
Yeah.
They got a guard. They play off their guard, and they got a good. I mean, they play off the guards. They don't really have the big men that they got. The only issue will be, but I think Capella and my guy, what's his name for Phoenix? What's his name? Alton.
Yes.
Yeah. So them two, I think they match up evenly when it comes to the big man. I think they similar teams, and they both got good coaches,
and they have a fast game.
Yeah,
both of them have a fast game. They move very quickly.
And they both got African American coaches, so I would love to see that.
We all would love to see that.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
All right, I'm with you on that. I'm pulling for Atlanta.
Pulling for Atlanta.
I'm gonna pull for Atlanta.
Phoenix. I like Chris Paul too. So yeah,
CP3. Oh shoot! Barbershop question: Was he held out because he had COVID and didn't say it? Or
he had COVID. Yeah, definitely had COVID.
You think that's what it was? Because they put him under the protocols?
Oh, yeah.
As opposed to him being exposed to somebody.
Yeah, no, he had COVID. Because, I mean, he missed 2 games, 11 days, so that's COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not somebody you just being exposed to somebody, because if you think about it, if you was exposed to somebody, you would have took the test, 5 days later, and they was cleared, and then they were like, all right, you good. No, he actually had COVID. Just no symptoms.
Yeah. Got put away. All right. That's it for us. Got to thank you for being here once again. See you in about another month. By the time we see each other again, Olympics should be up.
Oh, yeah. Should know who got the goals.
Yep. And we'll have a lot to talk about then. So thank you, Antman of Captain Entertainment and The Hustle Within right here on WSME. I'm Michelle Turner, and this has been the Sports Collective. Thank you.
All right. Good night.
Good night.